Hello and welcome back. Today it's day 6 of 12 days of anime, and today I'm gonna talk about a series that a lot of people definitely will know about. It's Goblin Slayer. Now I'm gonna talk about the manga technically speaking, but as an anime only, I'm not quite sure if it's gonna be considered a spoiler or not, because this moment that I'm gonna talk about happened before the arc that's already happened in the anime. So unless they decide to drop this arc later on, like in the last 2 episodes of the anime, then this probably will not be a spoiler. Yes, thought I'd let you know. Yes, there's a bit of a gray area there. I'm not quite sure, but I don't think it's gonna be a spoiler for you. And now this arc that I want to talk about is quite important, at least in my opinion. It is because it really gives us a lot of insight on how goblins sort of act under the leadership of a goblin lord, which, you know, we haven't really seen in the anime, because we've seen obviously hobgoblins, we've seen ogres, and we've seen, you know, all these kind of things, but we haven't seen a proper goblin lord like the one I'm talking about, which we've only really seen once in the manga, which is the one that I'm trying to talk about now. But in the anime, this one doesn't really appear. Now what's really fascinating, of course, is that we really get to see Goblin's strategy under this guy's leadership, which is, I mean, to most people, quite bad. And I don't mean badly written, I mean like it's really bad looking at how they strategize, because they use like naked women crucified on wooden boards as meat shields, so that the humans can't just widely, you know, spray a wave of arrows, because if they do that, they're gonna kill a lot of humans in the process. And as we all know, the humans don't really wanna kill other humans, they want to protect the humankind and just defeat the goblins in this case. And that's why the humans really have to use a different type of strategy in this fight. Of course, Goblin Slayer is the one hosting this whole fight. He's the one that's really brought all of the humans together. He knows about these kind of strategies from before, you know, he's quite an expert, let's be honest. Goblin Slayer knows a lot about the goblins' way of thinking, and he really thinks ahead in this arc, and we get to see that quite well. But not just that, we also get to see how the priestess, the main female of the series, actually gets some pretty good screen time in this arc, which, I mean, we've seen her get some pretty decent screen time even in the anime and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but in this arc we get to see her really show us what she can do when she takes a much more offensive role instead of just being this sort of support you usually see her do, because we see how she actually uses some of her magic, which isn't really new magic per se, it's just kind of protective magic and, you know, defensive magic, but she uses them in such a clever way that it really becomes a weapon. And that's something that I really enjoyed seeing. And I really do hope that this arc gets adapted in the anime, you know, in these last 2 episodes that we haven't gotten yet, but I don't really think we will, to be honest. I really don't. And the reason why I think this wasn't in the anime may have been because it's quite possible that this was not part of the light novel, because it's in the manga, but obviously the true source material of Goblin Slayer is the light novels. So if it wasn't in the light novels, then the anime may not have picked it up because they were following the light novels and not the manga, which is fine. I mean, because obviously in that case it's the anime is still following all of the canon material, they're not really skipping anything. The manga just added something that I personally happen to think is quite important, but maybe some people don't care about it, I don't know. I just felt like it's really something that kind of had to be in there because of the fact that we get to see a true goblin lord for the first time, a really intelligent one, you know, instead of one that just rules with fear. You know, this one actually has strategy, he has intelligence, despite the fact that Goblin Slayer absolutely annihilates him, but that's beside the point. That has been day 6 of 12 days of anime. This is a really short one. I just wanted to talk about this arc like really briefly, because it is something that I noticed when watching the anime as opposed to reading the manga, of course, but you know, doesn't necessarily have to be anything that's considered, you know, bad or skipping. It's just that I had really hoped to see this arc in the anime, but you know, I can kind of see why it's not in there and stuff like that. Not really a complaint. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed day 6 of 12 days of anime, especially if you read the manga and watch the anime like myself, and also may have noticed this change that they had, but again, may have followed the light novels and not the manga. So yeah, as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and don't forget to check out day 7 of 12 days of anime tomorrow.